So this is part two. Um, you heard that this woman talking about how she's burned, and as part one, there's this perp that you saw in the cover here, and trying to, at this point, whatever's going to happen to me is not going to counter the reality what these trash are. They play this feminist facade, or this femme fatale, avenging, but they involve in these foulest things. This is things that are just so foul. I'm just thankful to God that I never associated myself to anything that can do these horrible things to people. I'd rather get burned to death. I'd rather get stabbed to death. I'd rather get stomped to death. That having that involvement is just disgusting, and it's cowardly. If you go into that video, you hear her say that she's feel helpless because what's happening to her is not happening to her with somebody there doing that to her in front of her. It's remotely. So on top of not being able to do anything, you don't even see who's doing that to you. It's just from nowhere. Like you don't know where it's coming from. So this low life who talks and just you want me, and they say they like to call they are war. You're not a war. And it's funny, they do these things gimmicky with me. It was always been funny. They try to target individual. Understand there's a lot of game, right? Like they want you to put a state of psychosis of some sort. She clearly said this is obviously the government doing that to her. It's not some private entity. And they do some gimmicky things where they hand signals. I'm like, oh, this technology can literally do all that, and you need hand signal to make. And it's funny, they do that when you see them, right? Like all the time, you're not saying that's the time they're gonna do this. It's all try to create this psychosis of some sort, this psyche of some sort. So I'm like, this technology literally can manipulate your brain in every way. The V2K literally interact with you. V2K is this technology that pipes in voices into your brain. So what is this game the play is this? It's almost comical when you think about it in a logical way. Like you have the most sophisticated technology doing the worst thing to a human being. This technology literally can pipe in voices in your brain while rewiring your thought process. And you tell me your hand signal is so necessary. It's just clownery. But going back to reality, the reason why I bring up the burning sensation, this woman, let me just give you just a sample of the beginning of her testimonial. Just to understand how disgusting it is.
Men who dye their grays shamelessly. Weston Boucher, he's a model who shamelessly dyes his grays, and we love it.
Hey, I just woke up after a pretty rough night. The same thing happened last night as the night before, which was whenever I was trying to go to sleep. The private parts of my body began being burned again, and it felt like someone pushing out something inside of my body. So, yeah, that's what I am up against. Today is, let's see, February 16th. Look, 17th. Friday, February 17th. And the past 2 or 3 days, my neck and my back have been hurting so bad. It feels like someone's radiating on my body, on the back of my neck, trying to put my neck out for some reason. And just extremely intense headaches. I went and drank some beer yesterday because the pain was so intense, and because I couldn't find a doctor the day before that would accept my insurance. By the grace of God, I'm staying in a hotel, and so that's good. But yeah. And your mouth feels just like my teeth are like pressed forward, and I don't know. It's
I have to stop with the teeth part because it's the same thing for me. I can't even. She describes exactly what's happening with my teeth. I feel like my teeth have been moved forward. It feels weird, and you move. It feels like you have fake teeth in your head, in your mouth. It feels like you get like a bunch of fake teeth. But she goes forward and talks about how she's such in pain sometimes when they do the burning session that she her body goes into a shock because of the burn. But this sexual torture that she goes through, listen to a child going through this. This woman describing the what she witnessed a 4-year-old go through, and I just want to purposely bring that up because it's just nasty. It's just nasty. It's just some foulness.
I am currently a speech language pathologist working, and this was used to threaten me with severe sack. Many of their torture methods are being suffocated. And I also work with a 4-year-old little girl with Down syndrome, as well as her 5-year-old sister, who also has Down syndrome. I observed both of these girls suddenly grabbing their genitals in pain and verbalizing, "Ow." I observed this at least on 1 or 2 occasions for each of them during their separate sessions.
So this woman talks about a 4-year-old and her 5-year-old sister with both Down syndrome grabbing their genitals and saying "ow" and making face of pain. This woman, you hear her talk about how she feels these pain needles in the sexual, in the private part. This sexual torture is not applied to just women, but children too, and men, of course, given, of course. But this trash are involved in this. For me, first of all, what they like to do is like pay for what you did as a kid, and they're like, "Oh, 4-year-old," and they try to talk about me as a child doing whatever I did as a child to myself when I was in middle school, while being involved in a program that will sexually torture these children in this fashion. You heard what this woman who's able to express herself describe this pain in the genitals, feeling like it's some kind of burn happening there. Now, maybe it's not to the level of intensity as this woman, but sexually torturing children in whatever level it is disgusting. And this trash talk about me as a trash, as they deserve something else. And then today, listen, because of the humiliating reality of what they're involved in, I know they want to compensate because they still want to be in this deluded reality. They're the one avenging for what you paid, for what you did. You understand what they do to this woman? It's the same description this woman described a 4-year-old Down syndrome going through, and they pay for it. Try to talk about me as a child. That's the thing. They're going to make this mistake badly, and it's not. I don't want to even be capable of that. But you heard the sexual torture of this woman. Let me bring it back. Imagine kids going through this.
Permit right to watch and the proper paperwork, just walk right in and take over a hospital. And it seems that is a very real reality in a lot of capacities of the things that I faced. You just kind of just feeling some pretty general fear about my own safety, because the government's burning the private parts of my body.
The government is burning the private part of my body. And you hear this woman testifying and saying that the 4-year-old that she's teaching with Down syndrome and her older sister, who's 5 years old with Down syndrome too, are both grabbing their genitals because they're feeling pain. You gotta see this shit for what they are. It's just evilness to another level. And so going back to me, them trying to be like, now pay for it, pay. They talk about and child stupidity at that age. And I have multiple pictures of kids around the same age, like, because they're like, oh, this kid apparently is too short for a 13-year-old. This is like a 14-year-old. And so around that age, I did some dumb thing to myself. They try to exaggerate. But in fact, today, when they manipulate my brain in these pedophilia ways, they're like, no, we mapped it because remember what you did as a kid, what you did as this is a child doing some impulsive thing. First of all, I'm not a child, I'm a grown man, and I know that my brain is just being rewired. This is the pedophilia type of torture that you've done to others. Now, this technology is as sophisticated, I completely rewiring your thought process. This is part of the things I was saying in the past. So when you hear these people be able to do this V2K, which is piping in these voices into your brain, they can also rewire your thought process. This is what they do.
Voices into an individual's head. And once you can do that, you can control them using techniques and technologies that can pipe voices into an individual's head. And once you can do that, you can control them using neuro-linguistic programming techniques. You're rewiring their thought processes and brains. And so this gets into what's called offensive information warfare. And
you hear the rewiring of the thought process and the brain, and you hear this man calling it EEG.
Designed to interact with the human nervous system in order to remotely pick up on someone's neural network or EEG, and not only receive that and monitor it, but manipulate it and place it back into the victim to control their emotions or control their actions or bodily functions for that matter. The other more recent term we have for that is EEG heterodyning or EEG cloning. The difference between EEG heterodyning and EEG cloning would be let's say me remotely receiving your EEG and then duplicating it and putting that in another person to give them your same thoughts or feelings or physical reactions. EEG heterodyning would be receiving your EEG, manipulating it to put it back inside your head to give us a desired physical reaction or emotional reaction.
You get it? And so the reaction are very pedophilia-centric. The thought process are manipulating also is very pedophilia-centric. And then they try to gaslight you into accepting this manipulation. And you hear this woman's calling
It's
it...
referred to as malodorance. This is the alteration of the smell sensation so that I am often made to smell various things, including smoke, burning, dirty diaper, or baby powder, which they sometimes combine with the pedophilia type of torture, including the threat of planted dreams.
Calling it the pedophilia type of torture. The same woman who's talking about sexual torture too. And so, as I was uploading the first portion of the video, I screenshot everything they do to me. And when I'm on a like dating app and there's like the profile of the person I'm dating, the profile of the person I'm swiping left or right to, when they show a picture of themselves when they're kids or holding kids, they do this nasty manipulations and try to make me experience these reactions toward these children that's sexual. And try to gaslight me into accepting this nastiness. Like, now we mapped it. It's you when you're trash. Now you do this pedophilia type of torture. You're renowned to be this doing. They do these things systematically. The genital torture is something they do systematically. The manipulation of the thought process is something they do systematically. If you get V2K, you will get your brain rewired in disgusting ways. They are when you start dealing with V2K, that's the beginning of your thought process being rewired. Now this woman, I don't think she's going through V2K, but she's going through the electric, this electromagnetic radiation to her bodies, and so they're perhaps not doing the V2K, but they're doing what they're doing to the body remotely. I'm getting all of it. Like Mariana, this woman who's getting the V2K, talk about the mind is being rewired, talk about how they can make her smell things that's not there, and sometimes what they do is make her smell baby powder and then start creating some reaction that's pedophilia centric, giving her stimulations, she calls it the pedophilia type of torture, and she's not the only one. So for me, they do the same thing. Nothing is unique to me. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. All the even I was surprised to hear the way this woman described the teeth, because this is exactly what I'm going through too. My teeth feels like I don't have. It feels like I have fake teeth. I close my mouth. It's like they don't feel like my teeth. They're no longer the same. They're like pushed up. That specificness of what it's just crazy. It's like literally what there is nothing unique at all with me. And so I was going through this profile, and at the end you're gonna see somebody with a kid. You see this? It's her when she's a kid. The stomach part, just like try to give me some reaction stimulation. It's just nasty. And so every time I look at this picture of her, this person on this Tinder profile, they force me to get some nasty reaction. And it's always like that. Sometimes it's just like a portion of a child head there, stimulations. And they're like, nah, they are pays. No, you do the pedophilia type of torture, validated by other testimonials, but also validated that you torture children, validated that you torture women. It's very disgustingly, and it's sexual torture. These burn tactics at the common. So for me, when I hear this perp tell me that you see in this cover, say burn well. It's like, I'd rather burn well than involve in a program that burn these genitals of these women. I'd rather jump in a fire than be involved in anything that does these horrible things that you heard this woman go through. And then play this femme fatale, like a burn well. I was like, Trash, how do you feel to be involved in something that does these horrible things to even women and children? Can you imagine a child experiencing what this woman just said? Even a percentage of it? Never. What they deserve is just now on this earth. The cowardness of it all too. Anybody can participate. It will not take. They don't need to be monster-like. In their sweatpants, chill, relaxed, most comfortable state. Flip-flop on. Because these things is done remotely. They can do these things. They wake up, get their breakfast ready, have something ordered, get a snack, come back, burn some genitals. That's that easy. I rather die. I rather get destroyed in every way and live my life where I'm connected to anything that's capable to do this. And be a coward whispering they're gonna do this trash ass. This poor woman out here suffering, this child being tortured. To all my target individuals, stay strong. To all the you women who are going through these things, I don't know where you find the strength to stay on, but please continue. You give me strength. When I see her, I'm like, why? I was like, I don't know, like, it gives me strength, but at the same time, it gets me angry. It gives me anger. Because now I look at this trash in front of me, they're like, yeah, just that money trash ass. You fucking low life. You fucking trash. And then you play this femme fatale, this feminist. You have children. You're a woman. This woman has children. To all my target individuals, stay strong.